Player Will.
Welcome back, Visions fans. Ready Player Will here. I'm sure lots of you are already aware that we got some bittersweet news today related to the end of service announcement for Final Fantasy War of the Visions. Basically 2 months from today, a couple days longer than that, but I know it's something that the community really was not predicting, but knew that it was an imminent possibility, and there's been lots of talk of that over the last 5 years. And so while JB and I obviously knew it was a possibility as well, time and time again, we've shown that the game still continued on. And there was always in the back of my head this little bit of copium that was kind of the whole point of Road to Worldwide, that even when things really seemed dire, that the game was at a spot that still wasn't an option on the table. And unfortunately, that didn't seem to be the case, and ironically, the announcement came the day after I literally lifted my content strike. So I was looking forward to getting back into making content for War of the Visions, but at this point, we're not really sure exactly what they have in mind. I genuinely don't even know if they're going to continue doing weekly releases. As of right now, within the game, they've already removed all kinds of options for paid options to buy things. There's nothing in the shop that you can use that leverages paid Vizier. Even the banner here for Dark Leviathan, if you look at the summon date, I already summoned it, so it's gone. But the summon was like, it said something like 60 days or something to that effect, which almost makes me wonder, like, is it truly going to run for 60 days, or are we still going to get weekly updates? And I don't really know. I don't think anyone really knows. They never really confirmed that, but I guess this video is just to kind of talk out loud. I know this is a hot button topic. I'm sure everyone has a lot of thoughts and feelings. I'm personally, I think bittersweet is the best way to put it. I know this game was dwindling. I know there wasn't a lot of new player growth. We always knew it wasn't exactly new player friendly, particularly with how complex the game got. Even for myself that knows the numbers inside and out, the game got to a very complex spot with how many abilities were active all the time and what certain numbers meant, and it just got to a point that it was still fun, if you were keeping up with it. But I honestly, I thought the game balance was the best it's been in quite some time. I think right now the game is in such a fun spot, which is why it's kind of sad. The game really finally felt like it was getting its momentum. From a Guild War perspective, Howl was absolutely cruising as of late. We had a lot of great success against some of the top guilds in the game. Even the community, the Blind Enthusiast League is still running right now. There's still like enough hardcore fan engagement that I still was really looking forward to continuing this. And obviously the storyline's not done, so I was really looking forward to seeing the conclusion of the story. I know there's still some details being ironed out between the logistics of how long the game might go in JP, because right now they have not gotten EOS. So I'll be looking for content creators on JP to kind of like tell me what happens in the story. I'll try to follow it as best I can. But it's sad. But I'll be honest, the reason why I say bittersweet is because this game over the last 5 years has absolutely changed my life in some great ways. Through COVID, it was a great social experience, and I have a lot of great friends, and I speak with most people in my life through Discord, through this game right now. It's a big part of my social community, and that's going to functionally be ending now that we're losing this one thing in common that we always got to talk about. But on the other hand, this game, as you all know, is very demanding. And on the one hand, that's one of the things I liked about it. You could put in as much as you wanted into it because of how complex it was, and always kind of have more to chew on. But by the other token, it's nice to not have to worry about daily routines of what time guild war starts, and getting hits in for quick pick by certain times. And for 5 years I've lived my life by the schedule of this game. It disrupted my sleeping habits, where for period of time there, year 1, year 2, when we were getting 4 a.m. reset announcements, and always excited to like read the notices and see what was new and incoming, I started to develop a really bad habit of just like naturally waking up at 4 in the morning, purely because I would turn on my phone and read what's going on in the game. And then inevitably, then you click on Discord, and then I'm chatting with people at like 3 in the morning, and just really disrupting my life throughout all hours of the day, and then I'd be trying to do something at work because obviously the mock hours for Guild War overlap with actual like business hours. So there were times where I was trying to pick and choose how I allocated my time between work and this, and even after hours, there were sometimes things that I needed to do in my personal life, but I couldn't get to because I was making a video or maybe I was just playing the game. So from that perspective, it is kind of nice to look forward to a new normal of living life on my own schedule rather than War of the Visions. But this is a game that I do appreciate what they've done. I'm not mad at Gumi or Square Enix. I'm so appreciative that they gave me the opportunity to play this game. Obviously not perfect, but far more good memories than bad, like not even remotely close. Obviously there's hiccups, but at the end of the day, this was a wonderful experience, but also a very taxing experience. This is a gacha game, and unfortunately made a really lot of like terrible financial decisions because of it, that I think if I were to talk to a non-gamer and talk to them about like the spending habits and whatnot, I think an average person would probably say I'm sick in the head. But that's kind of the nature of this game. And so on that note, I'm also very happy that I can kind of transition away, not have to worry about that anymore, and kind of get back to a new normal in that sense too. So there's a lot of benefits. Bittersweet is the way to say it. And I know I'm not the only one. There's been a lot of top end players that kind of fall into that. I won't call it a trap, but it kind of is. I mean, there's no secret that gacha games really tap into the psychology of FOMO and tapping into the addiction of certain players and how they either keep you engaged on a daily basis, taking control of your time, of your finances, whatever it may be. So I still play other gacha type games, but I'm a lot more prudent with my spending. I play Nikkei. I don't spend on that at all. I have no incentive or drive to. Genshin Impact, I do spend, but not nearly like I did on War of the Visions. I still play games like Final Fantasy XIV, where there's a subscription-based model, so I'm still going to be paying for games, but my gacha days are likely behind me. I do know that Suikoden announced a gacha game from what it looks like. Debatable whether I'll cover that in the future. I don't really know what this channel is going to do. I do have some intentions in the short term with the next 2 months that the game is online that I'd like to record all the cutscenes and at least upload them to this channel. I'd like to record some of the music in the menus and try to get like a soundtrack on here just to kind of preserve what we have while I have it. I have this ambition to take that and also update the wiki to actually like give these characters some full-fleshed, like, on paper things, attributes, what happened to the story, summary, recaps. That I'm not a big expert on wiki updating, so I think that might be a little more that I can chew, but it's something I'd still like to maybe even attempt. But in terms of content creation, I probably will still dabble with content creation. It's really just finding the game that I'm passionate about, because I'm not a content creator by trade. I don't do this for money. I never have. That's still one of the things I'm proudest of, that I don't buy into that whole like and subscribe and blah 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 and making thumbnails with like the clickbait, whatever. That's not what I do this for. So my next piece of content creation would have to be for something that I am passionate about. That being said, I'm passionate about a lot of games. It's really just finding the one that maybe has the consistency that War of the Visions did for new content in terms of a live service game. So if you guys have suggestions of what you'd like, I'm sure there's going to be some. I can tell you right now, it will not be Sword of Convalaria. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I can almost guarantee it's probably not going to be a gacha game in this mobile sense. I think I'm ready to move on from here. Some of these AAA titles like Genshin, that is on the table, despite the fact that is kind of a gacha game. I guess by the technicality of like summoning on a banner. But that's really all I think I wanted to talk about. This is just kind of like a moment to, I don't know, recap my thoughts, my experiences. I know a lot of people look to me for, I don't know, just, I won't say guidance, because I don't think I'm that self-important, but just to get some thoughts on it. I really wish they were able to just drag us along until the conclusion of the story happened, just so that it felt like there was some closure and finality. If you're looking at the revenue numbers of Global, we've been pretty consistent at like 400,000 to 500,000 a month over the last like 4 to 8 months. And so I didn't really see anything that made me think that we were in danger of being cut off because we'd been kind of consistent. And even like the players, I think, the Sephiroth meta really did a number on driving some people out. But overall, I still feel like we had a healthy enough core population that we were still keeping it going. JB and I have talked about this too on the pod, the Leoner support on the podcast. It does kind of stick that a lot of the content creators have bowed out over this time. I think that this game maybe could have gone for a little bit longer if there was just a little more of like an actual like fan community that supported the game the way it could and should be. I know right now we're limited for resources when it comes to like new player guides and real actual tier lists and gameplay stuff. And you go to Twitch right now and no one is streaming this game. And there have been people that have been doing content creation for this game. I'm not saying no one does it, but I think that's one thing that I noticed compared to other gachas as a casual player, that War of the Visions just doesn't have that exposure. So it can be tough for players to keep up, particularly tough for new players coming in where there's just so much to digest. But, without letting this video go on for too long, the bottom line is I'm really sad. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss talking to all of you. I'm going to miss the social life and the Discord experiences that I have with them. Because I'm looking at my Discord right now, and the moment that this game goes under, it's a huge part of my social life cut out. So I've had a lot of fun doing this, a lot of great memories. My experience with the game, I don't think I have any regrets on the table. I have every vision card. I have every unit in the game except for Mavia. I actually ended up skipping her, but I've had such a awesome experience going back. Actually, we'll like my personal history here. I have just been with the best company of the best players for so long, and I started way back when in Chocobo Force with a whole bunch of people that are still in here in the game currently. I'm not going to go through and shout out names in particular quite yet. I'll probably do that more at like a goodbye video when it's actual end of service. But from Chocobo Force to joining Pepper, which was back when Pepper and Salt were a thing, that became Lucavi. My time in Visipur, and I was there during like the dominating heyday of Visipur that like cemented the legacy. Just like this isn't even it. This is when Hiso took over. This like undisputed streak through the 2021 and 2022 with so many great friends. I was a part of that. I learned so much from that. And then even now being in Howl for all this time, even before Howl, I was part of the retired group that climbed like 100 ranks that became Final Boss. So I was part of that climb to create that. And it's just been an absolute gem of an experience. I don't think I have anything else I wanted to accomplish. Sure, there's some selection quests that I didn't actually finish that I probably should have, but all my units are maxed. I was able to use them in a way I wanted. I think I reincarnated every unit I possibly wanted, and so I'm ending on a good note. I know not everyone's going to feel that way, unfortunately, where I'm sure there's a lot of people that still were looking forward to reincarnating or pulling certain units that they wanted. There are some units that I know people still wanted to see, like a future new like Adelard unit, for instance, that just we're never going to have an opportunity to play with. And so not a lot of regrets. So at that note, I'm happy to close this chapter and just kind of move on, do something new. But I appreciate all the support everyone has given me over this time. I know there's a lot of memeing and chatter about EOS right now in the community. I've never enjoyed that conversation and the memes around EOS. I think there's some people that you can talk about it from an actual analytical perspective, which is how JB and I think, always approached it, where we talked about it really from like the business perspective, if we could. But there's some people that look at EOS for the drama sake, that these are people that don't have a passion for the game, that their excitement, their, what's the word? Dopamine hits come from the drama, and that has always been a little upsetting to me. It's always been kind of sad to see people get joy out of joking about EOS and doom posting all the time, because it does get to a point where, because this is a game that I love and it's so intricately tied to my life that it almost becomes personal after a while, that you're laughing about taking away something I love, that you're actively in my face flaunting about ending something that I don't want to end. So I've never appreciated that. There are certainly people out there right now that are, dare I say, celebrating EOS. They're celebrating that their prediction was finally right after the 15th time that they predicted it. They had to be right eventually. I'm trying not to engage in them personally, and if I'm you, I'd recommend to not engage with them either. This game wasn't perfect. We would have wanted more from a communication perspective, from a live stream perspective. I know Justin, everyone looked to him for probably more than he could ever deliver, given the constraints of what his role was supposed to be. I know Hiroki has been missing for quite some time, facing the global community. We have a live stream tomorrow on the 26th to announce the end of service. I would imagine Hiroki's probably delivering that the same way he did for the original FFBE. I'll be tuning in to watch that, so you'll see me in live chat there. But I'm supremely grateful for what they've done. Wasn't perfect, but it was everything that I wanted. So I'll stop here now. Appreciate any thoughts you guys have too, and this is not the last you'll see of me. We're gonna have chances to reminisce and grieve and have some fun on the Leona support, which is not ending yet. We're gonna run the Leona support up until actual EOS, so we will be able to hit 100 episodes on the Leona support. We'll see if they keep coming out with content. If they don't, JB and I will come up with some fun kind of games. I know there's some like content creator games that will involve War of the Visions. That we can do to still have fun with it. But it's not ending. I'm not going away quite yet. But please feel free. Leave your comments below. Appreciate all the warm words and people have been very, very grateful to me for the work that we've put into this and have already reached out to let me know that. And I can't thank you guys enough. From day one, I always did this for you guys. I recognized that this game was complex. I wanted to teach. And if you look at all my earliest videos, it's like damage formula equations and hit rate calculations. And I started the character reviews, and they were really always like statistically driven to try to like inform and do more than just high level analysis. That I always just wanted to make sure that people knew what they were doing in the game, because I liked the game and I wanted people to maximize their experience. That was always the goal. And it sounds like I achieved that to a degree. I hope I did, but I'll sign off now. I am kind of in that rambling territory for now, but thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support, and no doubt we will be talking soon. But that's it for now. See you, everybody.